China has built infrastructure on a scale that's rarely seen in human history. So in this video, I'm going to count down the top 20 biggest Chinese megaprojects that were ever built. Let's start with number 20, the Shenzhen-Zhongshan Link. The Shenzhen-Zhongshan Link is one of the most complex transportation megaprojects. It connects the eastern and western sides of the Pearl River Delta by linking the two cities across open water. This project officially opened to traffic in 2024 after more than 7 years of construction, and its purpose is to reduce the travel times within the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Greater Bay Area, and of course relieve congestion on the existing roads. The total length of this link is about 24 kilometers, and rather than a single bridge, it's a hybrid system that consists of bridges, artificial islands, and immersed undersea tunnel. The tunnel section's about 6.8 kilometers long and was built beneath one of the busiest shipping corridors in the Pearl River. This immersed tunnel was built from massive prefabricated concrete sections that were transported, submerged, and then precisely aligned on the seabed. The artificial islands were constructed to connect the tunnel with the bridge sections using steel cylinder foundations, and the bridge segments themselves include large span structures designed to withstand typhoons and seismic forces. The new link then significantly reduces the travel time between the two cities, and before the project opened, it would take about 2 hours or more, often requiring long detours around the delta. This new crossing reduces the travel time to about 30 minutes under normal traffic. It integrates directly with the urban expressway networks on both sides of the delta, which allows seamless movement between industrial zones and ports. This link is intended to support the long-term economic integration across the western and eastern Pearl River Delta. So as with other large marine projects, environmental impacts are a subject of ongoing study and management. Number 19. Shanghai Tower. The Shanghai Tower is the tallest building in China, and it's one of the most significant single-structure megaprojects ever completed in the country. It's located in the financial district of Shanghai's Pudong New Area. The tower stands at a height of 632 meters, and it was completed in 2015. It is currently the third tallest building in the world by height. The tower consists of 128 above-ground floors and several underground levels. The total floor area exceeds over 570,000 square meters, making it not only extremely tall but massive in overall volume. The building was designed as a mixed-use vertical city, housing offices, retail areas, hotels, conference spaces, cultural venues, and even observation decks. One really cool feature is that the building rotates about 120 degrees from the base to the top. That was a design choice that reduces wind load and structural stress caused by the frequent high winds there. This kind of aerodynamic shaping allowed the engineers to reduce the amount of material required while still meeting strict safety standards. The tower uses a double-skin facade system that consists of an inner cylindrical building wrapped by an outer glass curtain wall, and the space between the two layers acts as kind of a thermal buffer, which improves the energy efficiency of the building and allows for sky gardens at multiple levels. These kind of interior atriums serve as communal spaces, and they help regulate the temperature and airflow of the building. The site did require deep foundation work due to the soft soil conditions in Shanghai. The building rests on these massive concrete mats supported by hundreds of foundation piles. The structural systems were designed to withstand seismic activity and extreme wind here. The tower does have some sustainability features that includes wind turbines near the top of the building for supplemental power generation, but while exact performance figures vary by source, the building was designed to reduce energy consumption compared to conventional skyscrapers of similar size. Number 18. The Qinghai-Tibet Highway. The Qinghai-Tibet Highway was one of the most challenging road infrastructure projects ever built in China. It connects Xining in Qinghai Province with Lhasa in the Tibet Autonomous Region, and it covers a distance of about 1,950 kilometers. This highway crosses some of the highest and most remote terrain on Earth, including permafrost zones and mountain passes exceeding 5,000 meters in elevation. Construction of the original route began in the 1950s, with major upgrades and modernization carried out in subsequent decades. The highway was China's first permanent road connection to Tibet and remains a critical transportation lifeline for the region. Large portions of the route were rebuilt and paved to modern standards beginning in the 1970s and then continuing on into the 2000s. One of the greatest challenges here was the permafrost. Significant sections of the route cross frozen ground that become unstable when the temperatures rise. Engineers had to develop specialized road beds, insulation layers, and cooling techniques, and those solutions required extensive testing and adaptation to local environmental conditions. The highway reaches its highest point at the Tanggula Mountain Pass, which stands at about 5,231 meters above sea level. At these kinds of altitudes, construction crews faced extreme cold and very low oxygen levels, so special medical facilities and oxygen supplies were required to support workers. Now, the whole route plays a vital role in supplying Tibet with food, fuel, and construction materials. It supports tourism and economic development by providing reliable year-round access, and before the highway's construction, travel to Tibet was slow, seasonal, and highly limited. As a road built across extreme terrain at unprecedented altitude, the Qinghai-Tibet Highway stands as one of China's most remarkable achievements. Its length and elevation make it one of the country's most demanding megaprojects. Number 17. The Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. The Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge is one of the largest and most complex megaprojects ever built in China. It spans the Pearl River Delta, linking Hong Kong, Zhuhai, and Macau, hence the name. The bridge officially opened to traffic in 2018 after approximately 9 years of construction, and its purpose was to improve the connectivity within the Greater Bay Area, which is one of China's most economically significant regions. A full crossing is about 55 kilometers long, and rather than a single continuous bridge, the project is a network of structures that include long-span bridges, viaducts, artificial islands, and an immersed undersea tunnel. The tunnel section is about 6.7 kilometers long and was built to allow for uninterrupted passage for large cargo ships. This tunnel was built from massive prefabricated concrete sections, each weighing tens of thousands of tons, which were floated into position and then sunk under the seabed. The artificial islands were constructed at both ends of the tunnel to connect it to the bridge sections, and these islands were built using steel cylinders too, driven deep into the seabed and filled with sand and concrete. Engineers had to incorporate corrosion-resistant materials here and protective coatings to extend the structure's lifespan, which is designed to exceed 120 years under normal conditions. A major goal of the project was to reduce travel times across the delta. Before the bridge opened, travel between Hong Kong and Zhuhai typically required a ferry or a long road journey around the delta. The bridge reduced the driving time to about 45 minutes, significantly improving logistics in the region. Environmental impact, too, was a major consideration. Measures were implemented to reduce any disruption to the marine ecosystems, including monitoring programs that were related to Chinese white dolphins. The environmental impacts have been debated, though. Mitigation strategies were formally incorporated into the project design. Number 16. The South-North Water Transfer Project. Now this one, the South-North Water Transfer Project, is one of the largest and most ambitious water infrastructure projects anywhere in the world. Its purpose is to alleviate severe water shortages in northern China by diverting water from the Yangtze River Basin in the south to arid and densely populated regions in the north, including Beijing and Tianjin. Planning for the project began in the 1950s, but full-scale construction didn't start until the early 2000s. Now, the project's designed around three main routes: the eastern route, the central route, and the western route. As of today, the eastern and central routes are operational, while the western route remains in long-term planning and feasibility stages. Together, these completed routes span thousands of kilometers. They involve canals, tunnels, pumping stations, aqueducts, reservoirs, and water control structures on a continental scale. The eastern route does largely follow sections of the historic Grand Canal and relies on a series of pumping stations to move water northward. The central route begins at a reservoir on the Han River, which is a major tributary of the Yangtze, and it delivers water by gravity flow to northern cities. This route required the raising of a new dam, extensive resettlement, and the construction of long aqueducts and tunnels to cross rivers, highways, and rail corridors. But since becoming operational, the project has delivered tens of billions of cubic meters of water to northern China. Major recipient areas include Beijing, Tianjin, Henan, Hebei, and Shandong. This transferred water supports municipal supply, industrial base, and environmental restoration efforts like groundwater recharge. In Beijing, the project alone has become a primary source of drinking water, which reduced dependence on overexploited local aquifers. Hundreds of thousands of residents had to be relocated as part of the project, and it makes it one of the largest resettlement efforts associated with a water project in modern history. The whole project was fully operational on its completed routes and continues to expand in capacity and coverage, and in terms of geographic scale and engineering complexity, it ranks among the largest megaprojects ever built in China, and it's unmatched globally in the field of water diversion. Number 15. The Pudong New Area Development. Located east of the Hangpu River in Shanghai, Pudong was largely agricultural land and low-density settlements prior to the 1990s, but in 1990 the Chinese government formally designated Pudong as a special development zone, marking the beginning of a decades-long state-driven urban expansion. Since its designation, Pudong has been developed into a major financial, industrial, and transportation hub. The area now covers more than 1,200 square kilometers, and it's home to millions of residents. One visible component of this development is the financial district. This area contains some of China's tallest and most recognizable skyscrapers, including the Shanghai Tower, the Shanghai World Financial Center, and the Jinmao Tower. These buildings house financial institutions, corporations, hotels, and observation facilities, and they've become symbols of Shanghai's modernization. Pudong's also home to some major transportation infrastructure. Shanghai Pudong International Airport, one of China's busiest, is located within the district. This area includes deep water port facilities, logistics zones, and multiple cross-river tunnels and bridges. An extensive metro network links Pudong to the rest of the city, supporting high-density development. Pudong hosts advanced manufacturing, semiconductor production, biomedical research, and free trade pilot zones that are designed to attract foreign investment, and those zones operate under special regulatory frameworks that are intended to support innovation and international trade. The scale of construction, though, in Pudong required massive public investment over several decades. Entire neighborhoods and business districts were planned and built from the ground up, and unlike single-structure megaprojects, Pudong represents a continuous, coordinated transformation of land at a metropolitan scale. Number 14. The Beijing-Shanghai High-Speed Railway. The Beijing-Shanghai High-Speed Railway is one of the most important projects ever built in China. It connects the capital city, Beijing, with Shanghai, the country's largest economic center, across a distance of about 1,300 kilometers. Construction started in 2008, and the line officially opened for commercial service in June of 2011. It was designed to relieve congestion on the existing conventional rail lines and to provide a fast, reliable alternative to air travel in one of the busiest travel corridors in the world. Before construction, the route carried an enormous volume of passenger by train and plane, often carrying at capacity. This high-speed line fundamentally reshaped the long-distance travel between the northern and eastern China areas. The railway supports operating speeds of up to 350 kilometers an hour, although typical commercial service runs at slower speeds depending on conditions and scheduling. But at full speed, travel time between Beijing and Shanghai can be as short as 4.5 hours, compared to more than 10 hours on conventional rail. The route includes hundreds of bridges, viaducts, tunnels, and embankments, and a significant portion of the railway is elevated to minimize any land use conflicts, reduce crossings with roads and waterways, and of course improve safety. Several major river crossings were built too, including large bridge structures spanning the Yangtze and Yellow rivers. It involved the construction and expansion of numerous stations along the route, serving major cities like Tianjin, Jinan, Nanjing, and Suzhou, and those stations were designed to handle very high passenger volumes and integrate with local subway and transportation networks. The whole project was financed through a combination of central government funding, state-owned banks, and bond issuance. The total cost has been reported at more than 200 billion won, making it one of the most expensive projects ever undertaken at the time of construction. It is consistently one of the busiest high-speed rail routes in the world. High ridership has made it one of the more financially stable high-speed lines within China's extensive rail network. Number 13. The Ningbo-Zhoushan Port. The Ningbo-Zhoushan Port is one of the largest port complexes in the world by total cargo throughput and one of China's most significant megaprojects. It's located on the coast of Zhejiang Province, south of Shanghai. This port serves as a gateway between China's manufacturing regions and global maritime routes. The system emerged through the integration of the historic Ningbo Port and Zhoushan Port, which were officially merged in 2006. The port area handles containerized cargo, bulk commodities like iron ore and crude oil, liquefied natural gas, automobiles, and general freight, and it's ranked first globally in terms of cargo throughput for multiple consecutive years, with annual volumes exceeding 1 billion metric tons. Many terminals here can accommodate the world's largest container ships and bulk carriers without any extensive dredging. This kind of natural advantage has been expanded through large-scale works, including quay construction, land reclamation, breakwaters, and even inter-island bridges that connect the port facilities across the archipelago. This whole project required massive investment and supporting infrastructure. Expressways, rail freight links, pipelines, storage facilities, and customs zones had to be built to connect the port directly with inland industrial sectors. Automation and digital management systems have been increasingly adopted across the port's terminals. Automated container yards, intelligent scheduling systems, and remote-controlled cranes are used to handle extremely high cargo volumes. All these systems allow the port to operate continuously under demanding conditions. This port also plays a strategic role in their energy security. It's a major entry point for imported crude oil, coal, and natural gas, with dedicated terminal and storage facilities designed for long-term supply stability. This port is fully operational and continues to expand through new terminals and capacity upgrades. In terms of geographic scale, cargo volume, it stands as one of the largest and most consequential megaprojects ever built in China's coastal infrastructure system. Number 12. The Guangdong-Hong Kong-Macau Greater Bay Area. Now, the Guangdong-Hong Kong-Macau Greater Bay Area, the GBA, is one of the largest regional development projects ever undertaken in China. It's a long-term economic integration initiative that links 9 major cities in Guangdong Province with the Hong Kong and Macau Special Administrative Regions. This combined area covers about 56,000 square kilometers and it's home to more than 80 million people. The goal of it is to integrate transportation, industry, finance, technology, and urban planning across the region to form a globally competitive economic cluster. This initiative was originally outlined in national planning documents released in the late 2010s, though infrastructure development began decades earlier, and it still continues today. The GBA includes expressway networks, cross-sea bridges, ports, airports, and even urban transit systems. These projects were designed to reduce travel times between the cities, like Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Zhuhai, Hong Kong, and Macau, and the region now functions as a highly connected system rather than a collection of separate cities. The GBA also includes major land reclamation projects, port expansions, and airport developments to support international trade and passenger traffic. Shenzhen and Guangzhou both operate some of China's busiest airports, while the region's ports collectively rank among the most active in the world. And governance within the GBA is pretty complex due to the presence of all different legal and administrative systems. Special frameworks had to be developed to manage this cross-border movement of goods, capital, and people, and while integration is ongoing, many systems still operate in parallel rather than fully unified. Unlike single-structure megaprojects, the GBA, the Greater Bay Area, is a continuous, multi-decade transformation. Its scale is not measured in kilometers or buildings, but in the coordinated development of entire cities and transport systems. Number 11. The West-East Gas Pipeline Project. Now, the West-East Gas Pipeline Project is one of the largest ever undertaken. Its purpose is to transport natural gas from resource-rich western regions to energy-hungry cities and industrial centers in eastern China. Construction of the first pipeline began in 2002, with multiple lines completed in the years that followed. It consists of several major systems, commonly referred to as the West-East Gas Pipeline 1, 2, and 3, and some subsequent expansions. Together, these pipelines span tens of thousands of kilometers, crossing deserts, mountains, and rivers. Gas sources include domestic fields in Xinjiang, as well as imported supplies from Central Asia. The first pipeline alone stretches more than 4,000 kilometers. It runs from Xinjiang to Shanghai, and later pipelines expanded the network to supply regions including Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Fujian. Construction, of course, posed major challenges. Pipelines had to cross seismic zones, permafrost regions, major rivers, and environmentally sensitive areas, so specialized construction techniques were used to stabilize the pipeline segments and prevent leaks under extreme temperature and pressure variations. The whole pipeline project plays a huge role in China's energy transition. By increasing access to natural gas, the project has supported efforts to reduce reliance on coal in urban heating and power generation. In many cities, pipelined gas replaced coal-fired boilers, contributing to a measurable improvement in air quality. But large-scale land acquisition and compensation programs had to be implemented along the pipeline routes, and while that varied by region, they were essential to enabling construction across such a huge geographic area. Number 10. The Xiongan New Area Development. Xiongan New Area. It's one of the largest urban development projects ever launched in China. It's about 100 kilometers southwest of Beijing in Hebei Province and was officially announced by the Chinese government in 2017. It was conceived as a long-term solution to relieve pressure on Beijing by relocating non-capital functions and creating a new model city built largely from the ground up. It covers more than 2,000 square kilometers, and it makes it comparable in size to a major global metropolitan region. But unlike conventional urban expansion, this was designed as a centrally planned city with integrated infrastructure and digital systems. Early development focused on underground utilities, the transportation corridors, and water systems rather than any visible buildings. One of the defining features is its emphasis on subterranean infrastructure. Extensive underground space has been constructed to house the utilities, the energy systems, and public services. This approach has reduced surface congestion and allows above-ground areas to be reserved for green spaces and residential zones, and large portions of the city's infrastructure are managed through centralized platforms. The transportation infrastructure here includes the expressways, the arterial roads, and intercity connections, all linking the area to Beijing, Tianjin, and other parts of Hebei. Public services like hospitals, schools, administrative buildings, they've all been built gradually as the population relocation has increased. The whole place is intended to host the government institutions, the research centers and technology firms, and universities relocated from Beijing. The population growth has been carefully phased, with strict controls on real estate development to prevent speculative constructions. And although still under development, this new area represents one of the largest coordinated urban megaprojects in modern China. Its scale, planning, and long-term national role place it among the country's most significant development initiatives. Number 9. Terminal 3 at the Beijing Capital International Airport. So Terminal 3, it's one of the largest airport terminal buildings ever. The terminal was completed in 2008 as part of preparations for the Beijing Summer Olympics, and it significantly expanded the airport's capacity. Terminal 3 covers about 986,000 square meters of floor space, and it makes it one of the largest airport terminals in the world by area. At the time of its completion, it nearly doubled the passenger handling capacity there. It was designed to handle tens of millions annually and to accommodate larger aircraft, including the Airbus A380. Despite its size, though, the terminal was engineered to maintain passenger flow through centralized security, immigration, and baggage systems. Huge spans and high ceilings allow extensive use of natural light, which reduces the need for artificial lighting during the day. Construction of the terminal required extensive site prep. New runways, taxiways, fuel systems, and aircraft parking areas were built alongside the terminal to support this increased traffic, and the project also included new road access, parking facilities, and utilities integrated directly into the network. Following its opening, Terminal 3 had helped Beijing Capital International Airport become one of the busiest in the world for several years. It played a huge role in their international aviation growth during the late 2000s and 2010s before the traffic was gradually redistributed following the opening of the Beijing-Daxing International Airport. Number 8. The 3 North Shelter Belt Program. The 3 North Shelter Belt Program is often referred to as China's Great Green Wall. It's one of the largest engineering projects ever undertaken there. It spans northern China and is designed to combat desertification, soil erosion, and dust storms that have historically affected large parts of the country. The project was officially launched in 1978 and is planned to continue through to 2050. The name 3 North refers to the regions it covers: Northeast China, North China, and Northwest China. Together, these areas cover more than 4 million square kilometers, and it makes the program continental in scale. It involves the replanting of trees, shrubs, and grasses to create these shelter belts intended to stabilize the soil, reduce wind speed, and limit the expansion of desert regions like the Gobi Desert. Rather than a single forest or wall, the program consists of thousands of individual projects. These include wind-breaking forests, sand-fixing vegetation zones, and farmland shelter belts designed to protect crops and settlements. Over the decades, hundreds of billions of trees have been reportedly planted as part of the program, although survival rates do vary by region and species. Later phases place greater emphasis on native vegetation, mixing planting strategies and ecological suitability rather than simple tree count. Studies have documented reduced wind erosion, improved agricultural productivity in some sheltered areas, and partial stabilization of shifting sand dunes. In certain locations, poorly adapted tree species had increased water stress and failed to survive long term, and those outcomes have led to revised planting guidelines. Despite mixed results, though, and some ongoing challenges, the project is still active and continues to evolve. The scale of it is unmatched among environmental restoration efforts worldwide. In terms of land area and affected long-term national impact, the 3 North Shelter Belt program ranks among China's most expansive projects. Number 7. The Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei Coordinated Development Project. The Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei Coordinated Development Project, it's a large-scale regional integration megaproject designed to rebalance economic activity, population distribution, and infrastructure across northern China. It links Beijing, the port city of Tianjin, and the Hebei province into a single metropolitan region, commonly referred to as Jing-Jin-Ji. The project was formally elevated to national strategy status in 2014, and it covers more than 200,000 square kilometers, plus it's home to over 110 million people. Historically, Beijing concentrated political, cultural, and economic functions, while the surrounding areas lagged in development. This project aims to reduce pressure on Beijing by redistributing these industries. Non-core functions like manufacturing, wholesale markets, logistics hubs, and some educational and research institutes have been relocated from Beijing to the surrounding cities in Hebei. Tianjin serves as the key port for manufacturing and shipping. This region has long suffered from severe air pollution due to heavy industry and coal use. Policies were introduced to close outdated factories and upgrade energy systems, and these efforts required large-scale investment in the energy infrastructure and pollution control. They had to upgrade transportation and infrastructure too. Expressways, ring roads, airports, ports, and urban transit systems were all expanded or restructured to improve the connectivity across the region. And while rail links exist, the defining feature is the coordinated planning of land use and industry. And of course, governance is a key challenge. As the region spans multiple administrative jurisdictions with different priorities, special mechanisms were created to align the planning and regulatory enforcement. So this coordinated development project is ongoing and continues to evolve. In terms of population affected, infrastructure investment, it's one of China's largest and most complex regional megaprojects. Number 6. The China National Expressway Network. The China National Expressway Network is one of the largest road infrastructure projects. It's often referred to as the National Trunk Highway System. It's a nationwide network of controlled access expressways designed to connect all major cities, industrial zones, ports, and border regions. Planning began in the early 90s and construction accelerated rapidly in the 2000s. The network covers more than 160,000 kilometers of expressways, making it the largest expressway system in the world by total length. The network is structured around major north-south, east-west, and regional corridors that provide nationwide coverage rather than isolated routes. Construction of the network required massive land acquisition, tunneling, and bridge construction. Engineers built roads through deserts, mountains, and river valleys, and huge, dense urban areas. Large bridge and tunnel projects were required to cross major rivers like the Yangtze and Yellow Rivers to pass through mountainous regions. The whole system was designed to support heavy freight movement as well as passenger travel. Dedicated service areas, logistics hubs, and toll systems were integrated into this network, so electronic toll collection and traffic monitoring allowed for more efficient operation. It all reduced the travel times between the cities, it lowered logistics costs, and enabled the rapid expansion of manufacturing and e-commerce. Regions previously considered remote gained direct access to national markets, which accelerated the development and urbanization. This network continues to expand and still undergo upgrades, including capacity expansion and safety improvements. In terms of total length, though, and economic influence, this expressway network is among the largest infrastructure projects ever undertaken anywhere in the world. Number 5. Shanghai Pudong International Airport. The Shanghai Pudong International is one of the largest aviation megaprojects in China and a global major transport hub. It's about 30 kilometers east of central Shanghai. It opened in 1999 and it's undergone multiple large-scale expansions. It occupies a huge land area along the coast and includes multiple passenger terminals, cargo facilities, runways, and support. As of its most recent expansion phase, it operates 4 runways and 2 main passenger terminals with additional satellite concourses designed to handle high passenger volumes efficiently. Now, this airport was built to support Shanghai's emergence as a global financial center. It serves as the primary international gateway for eastern China, and it handles huge volumes of both passenger and cargo. Construction required extensive land reclamation and coastal engineering due to its location near the East China Sea, so runways and terminals were built on reclaimed land and reinforced to support the heavy aircraft load. The airport includes large-scale cargo terminals, logistics parks, and bonded zones that support high-value manufacturing and trade, and those facilities allow for rapid movement of goods between air, sea, and land. The Shanghai Pudong International Airport is fully operational, continues to expand in capacity and functionality, and in terms of land area, passenger throughput, cargo volume, and economic importance, it's one of China's most significant projects, and it's a cornerstone of the country's global connectivity. Number 4. The West-East Electricity Transmission Project. So the West-East Electricity Transmission Project is one of the largest and most complex power infrastructure projects ever built. Its purpose is to transmit electricity, generated in western China to the densely populated and industrialized eastern regions. The project's built around a network of ultra-high voltage, alternating current and direct current transmission lines, and they operate at voltages that are significantly higher than conventional power grids. It allows electricity to be transmitted over thousands of kilometers with reduced energy loss. China is the world leader in the development of this kind of technology, both in scale and experience. Electricity transmitted through the system comes from a wide range of sources: coal-fired power plants, hydropower stations, wind farms, solar installations, and even nuclear facilities. Major generation bases are located in provinces like Inner Mongolia, Sichuan, and Yunnan, while major demand centers include Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangdong. Now, the transmission corridor often exceeds 1,500 to 3,000 kilometers in length. Construction required the installation of massive steel transmission towers. Some towers exceed 100 meters in height and were erected in remote or sensitive areas. Converter stations at both ends of the DC lines are among the largest electrical facilities ever built, housing complex control and cooling systems. This whole project allows renewable energy generated in resource-rich western regions to be used in the eastern cities. It also enhances their national energy security by balancing supply and demand across regions. In terms of geographic reach and installed capacity, this project stands as one of the most important electrical infrastructure megaprojects in the world. Number 3. China's land reclamation and artificial island construction. So China's land reclamation and artificial island construction in the South China Sea, it represents one of the largest maritime megaprojects ever undertaken. The work is focused on several reef features in the Spratly Islands, where submerged or partially submerged reefs were expanded into permanent islands. Major construction happened primarily between 2013 and 16, and the project involved dredging sand and coral material from the seabed and depositing it onto the reef structure to create stable land platforms. The artificial islands were then reinforced with seawalls and foundations designed to withstand typhoons and erosion. Following land creation, extensive infrastructure was built there. This includes long airstrips, deep water harbors, and radar installations. Some of the islands have runways that exceed 3,000 meters and capable of accommodating very large aircraft, and the port facilities were constructed to allow access for larger vessels. Construction did pose some challenges. Engineers had to stabilize the loose reclaimed material, protect the shorelines from erosion, and construct foundations on coral reefs. Specialized dredging vessels and marine construction equipment were needed over several years to complete this work. These artificial islands are fully built and they're maintained, with ongoing upgrades and maintenance operations, and while the project is politically sensitive and subject to competing territorial claims, the physical construction itself represents an unprecedented scale of engineering. From a purely engineering perspective, the South China Sea Artificial Island Program ranks among the largest land reclamation projects ever completed. Number 2. The Three Gorges Dam. The Three Gorges Dam is the largest hydroelectric power plant ever built. It's located in the Yangtze River in the Hubei province. Construction began in '94. Major structural work was completed in 2006, and the full power generating system became operational in 2012. Now, this dam is a concrete gravity structure, and it measures about 2,300 meters in length and 185 meters in height. It created the Three Gorges Reservoir, which stretches more than 600 kilometers upstream. Now, this reservoir dramatically altered the hydrology of the Yangtze River and enabled large-scale flood control, power generation, and navigation. Now, the primary function of the dam is electricity, obviously. The facility's got an installed capacity of over 22,000 megawatts produced by 32 main turbines. The electricity generated is then transmitted to eastern, central, and southern China through high-voltage transmission networks. And of course, flood control is another core purpose of this project. The Yangtze River historically caused catastrophic floods. The reservoir allows operators to store excess water during peak flood season, then release it gradually, which reduces flood risk. Before construction, shipping through the gorges was difficult and dangerous. The reservoir raised water levels, allowing larger vessels to travel further inland. A multi-stage ship lock system and vertical ship lift were built to allow vessels to bypass the dam. This ship lift can raise vessels weighing up to 3,000 tons in a single operation. But the project required the relocation of more than 1 million people due to reservoir flooding. Entire towns, villages, and cultural sites were submerged or rebuilt. This resettlement effort remains one of the largest population relocations associated with a single project. In terms of scale, power output, and complexity, the Three Gorges Dam is one of the largest and most influential megaprojects ever completed in China, and maybe even the world. Number 1. The Belt and Road Initiative. The Belt and Road Initiative, the BRI, it represents the largest infrastructure development program ever launched by a single country. Announced in China in 2013, this initiative aims to expand transportation, energy, and logistics across Asia, Europe, Africa, and the Middle East, and even parts of Latin America. While often discussed as a policy framework, its physical construction component qualifies as the largest megaproject in scope and geographic reach. This initiative includes hundreds of infrastructure projects like ports, highways, bridges, tunnels, power plants, pipelines, industrial zones, and logistics hubs. These projects are distributed across more than 140 participating countries. China's state-owned enterprises and construction firms play central roles in financing and building these assets. Major port developments under the BRI include facilities in Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Greece, and Southeast Asia. Highway and expressway projects connect island regions to coastal trade routes, while energy projects include coal, gas, hydropower, wind, and solar. Oil and gas pipelines, too, built under the initiative, extend thousands of kilometers across Central and South Asia. This initiative has reshaped global construction markets. Chinese firms have become some of the largest infrastructure builders, operating in challenging environments ranging from deserts and mountains to even dense urban centers. Projects often involve complex negotiations with the host governments, the land acquisition, and long construction timelines. And the Belt and Road Initiative has also generated some debate and scrutiny. Issues related to debt sustainability and environmental standards have been widely discussed, and outcomes vary significantly by country and project. But despite those complexities, this physical infrastructure already built under the BRI is vast. In terms of scale, number of projects, and capital deployed, the Belt and Road Initiative is the largest megaproject China has ever undertaken, and arguably the largest infrastructure effort in human history.